What's up, guys? It's Kictor, and welcome back to another live reading of the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. We have taken a small break as I was on vacation, and then had some terrible stuff happen with my dog. But, Lex update, she's doing better than ever today. I think she's actually barking right now, which is great. She seems to be back to normal, which is fantastic. I feel like I can finally heave a sigh of relief. And yeah, now we are back to chapter 6. I don't know if someone wants to try and give an update on what chapter 5 was about. But Jinling was stuck in a wall. That's for sure. Let's see who is here. Oh, Sienna sent a gift membership. Thank you so much, Sienna. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Who else is here today? Rose City Kimono and Kohaku Tsukino. And Abby has been a Supreme member for 13 months. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Abby. 13 months is insane. Thank you so much for being my safe space and making me feel so welcome in the danmei community. Also, I've sent the Peerless Volume 5 art and the Run Wild Volume 3 art. Oh, shoot. Ooh, I'm very interested in the Run Wild art. I am not reading Peerless. Stitch is reading it, so I'm getting it through osmosis, but I am reading Run Wild, so that's awesome. I'm excited to see that after. I don't have my phone on me right now. And Tina has been a Supreme member for 7 months. Thank you so much, Tina, I really appreciate that. That is such a huge help for me and Stitch, and I just appreciate it so much. So thank you, Abby and Tina, for both being Supreme members. That's so kind of you. And what did you say? Oh, wait till you see Feng Xiao. Oh, okay, okay. I'm very interested now. I'm very interested. Oh, Quinn! What the heck? Quinn, what? Oh my god! Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god, Quinn! Oatmeal said it best. Holy shit! Oh my god, that is fucking incredible. Thank you so much, Quinn. That is so, so kind of you. Quinn just sent $100 and said, so glad Lexi is doing better. Yes, me too. Time to blow the dust off the book. Yes, literally. Some dust. P.S. My waterfall painting only took about an hour and a half. That is crazy. If you guys didn't see, yesterday I did a live stream and I looked over some of the community posts. Anybody can post in the community, post pictures of your art, and Quinn drew or painted an incredible waterfall. It's stunning. I can't believe it only took you an hour. That's crazy. That is seriously crazy. Oh my god, Quinn, you are not only so generous, that is so freaking crazy of you. Oh my god, you are so talented, and I really appreciate having you in this community. I love all your comments and seeing you in the live stream, so thank you so, so much for making my freaking day. Oh my goodness. And Cork, thank you for your donation. Yay, Lex is getting better. Yes, she is. I just actually took her on a little walk, and she really likes to run in the sand and on the grass. It was awesome. Oh, she's still got one more week of her medication to take, and she's just doing so good. Something strange is that Lex used to like gobble up chicken, but now she does not want to eat chicken, which is very interesting. She like turns her head away at it. So I don't know if it's like sometimes you get sick and a certain like taste makes you think of something. I don't know. It's interesting. But she loves gobbling up beef. Esper Lady said, Quinn coming in with the steel chair. Honestly, that's what it feels like. A steel chair of love. Clara is here to cleanse your mind from Case File. That is so funny. Yep. Yep. Case File, Case File's a good one. CSZL, thank you for your donation. CSZL says, recap. Lamonji hoards bunnies. Wei Wuxian's bad playing. Saves Lan Qiren, but at what cost? Yes. Road trip. Arm points to Qing He. Jinling uses dog. It is very effective. Sabers are in the coffins, and bodies, Jinling, are in the wall. That's a fantastic overview. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I genuinely forgot about the Lan Qiren moment. Yes! Yes! Oh my goodness. That is so funny. Naj, hello and welcome. Lex she ingested rat poison. So I don't know if while they were at the vet, they were feeding her chicken-flavored treats or chicken-flavored food or something. So maybe that's why. But yeah, she was poisoned. I don't know, maybe rat poison tastes like chicken. Sammy Keeper has been a member for 7 months. Thank you so much. And says, hey, 7 months. Wasn't able to catch the last 2 streams due to work. So happy to be here tonight. Nice. I'm happy to have you here tonight. That's awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us for that long. And Beeboop. Oh, I love your name. Beeboop. Thank you so much for your donation. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I can't stay long, but wanted to stop by and give my support. Y'all have a good stream, and I'll catch up later. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Dear Z, thank you so much for your donation. Oh my goodness. Dearsy says, speaking of dusting off a book, I need to start Arha book 7. Yes, you do. Is book 7 the farm arc? Or is that a little bit past? Can someone remind me which book has the Arha farm arc in it? Spark Major! Hello, Spark Major! Can't wait to find out what the fuck happens in Case File 6. Me too. I know, there's been a big shift, so now it is extra interesting. Rose City Kimono said, I had taken a break from Case File. You know, that is understandable. Book 4 is the farm arc. Oh my god, wow. Time flies when you're reading Arha. That's crazy. Book 7 is when the trauma starts. Oh! Book 4, where Arha should have ended. Hello, Kate! Happy to see you here. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. CSEL says, Chapter 6 is 42 pages, so it may be doable. I think we can do it. I think we can do a long stream tonight, because I think we're having hamburgers, and I know it takes my dad some extra time to do the barbecue. I fear I am the family grill master, but I'm not cooking. Kate says, Case File made me realize I'm built different. Yes, if Case File's a walk in the park for you, you may be built a little bit different. Empire's Prince says, I'm currently on book 6 of Arha. I'm in danger. Quinn says, Kictor, did you show Stitch my painting? I actually forgot to, and my phone is fucking dead. I swear I will remember to show her tonight. Oh my goodness. Absolutely, especially after your donation. Thank you so much, Quinn. And I will tell you what she said for sure in detail. Abby says, please look at the Peerless art. You'll think it's a joke when you see it, but I promise it's not. Oh god. I want to see it. Spark Major's hamburgers. Yum. I'm so fucking hungry. Yes. Me too. Actually, I'm okay right now. I just ate a bunch of nuts. Turtle Sloth's dog also tried to eat rat poison. Oh, I hear a dog. Is it Lex? It's Linky! Come in here a little bit more so people can see you. There she is. Link! Oh, is that Lex back there too? Hey, come here! Link is so shy. She immediately turned away. No Linky today. Too nervous. Too nervous. Does anybody else have anything fun to talk about? Any exciting news this week? Was Link worried? Link was very afraid of Lex when she was sick, and when she came home with the cone on her head, Link was extra afraid. I think Link maybe thought that we were gonna put a cone on her too, so she was like, stay away from me. And Link has been extra energetic. I think she's been excited that Lex is back to normal now. She definitely acted different. Kate says, I have Peerless in my lap right now. Well, well, well. Naj says, dogs can be so dumb. Mine ate tempered glass from the road once. Oh gosh. Spark Major says, started another story with Pookie, so I have another OC to draw, but that's all. Dude, that art you posted that's of like the monster and Red Bull like personified is so cool. I love your art style so much. I have an idea for a comic that I want to make. Because I drew today. I drew Gojo. I drew Gojo to make one of those magnets you put on your dishwasher to know if it's clean or empty. It's a pointless thing. You can just look inside it, but I like having Gojo on my dishwasher now. Sumo says, funny things, I play a concert and on a parade this Saturday. Also, I went to pick up groceries and Wei Wuxian cosplay because I was trying out new pants for it. That is wonderful. And what did you buy as Wei Wuxian? Oh, Wei Wuxian's wig. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that about your dog. But yes, Lex is doing good. And Jinko got a kayak recently and went in your pool with it, because why not? That's amazing. Oh my god, hell yeah. When is the next danmei book club? Good question. I'm working on the case file one right now, and Stitch is working on the Peerless one. Emma says, I got the special edition of Joyful Reunion today and actually started listening to the first episode of the audio drama as well. Oh, nice. Oh, I need to make a post about that. I need to make a post about Joyful Reunion and Astrolabe. Cork, thank you for your donation. I am painting another Peerless phone case because I'm obsessed, and I finished my Suebuchu cosplay and I'm going to wear it to the state fair in town. That's amazing. Suebuchu would love the state fair. That's awesome. Spark Major says, super excited for case file and Run Wild. Yeah, I need to finish reading Run Wild. I actually haven't finished reading the second volume. This morning, though, I read all 5 volumes of The Summer Hikaru Died. I had read the first 2.5 volumes, and I finished the other 3 volumes this morning. It's really, really good. Very mysterious. Stitch and I are actually going to do a video on The Summer Hikaru Died. Oh, look who it is!
I want to show off my ugly knitting project. I hate it so much.
You hate it? Why?
Okay. I enjoy the process of knitting. I enjoy the process of knitting. It's very meditative. It's very relaxing. But I don't only want to knit rectangles. I never want to do anything more complicated. I don't want to know how to do anything else. Okay, but the ladies at the yarn store bullied me into knitting in the round, so I did that, and it's dumb, and I shouldn't have done it because the measurements were all wrong, so now it's like going this way instead of going this way, and I ran out of yarn because
Really?
I forgot. Yeah, I had just barely enough, but then I did 1 extra row, and because I forgot how to bind off, so I had to use like some other colored yarn to finish it, just barely, and I'm so mad. But
What is this part?
That I had to sew the end anyways, but if I had enough yarn left over, I could have done it to match. Now it just don't laugh. Okay, but look, you can put a book in it, and it will be safe. It's a sock for a book.
Hey! That fits perfectly.
Almost. And so it's like, by the time I realized that it wasn't working, I was like, it's too late to go back. Sunken cost fallacy and all that.
There you go.
I should have just unwound it and started over and did it a different way.
Listen, okay, don't think I'm being an unsupportive spouse. This is because I know
I don't know whether to laugh or to cry.
I know Stitch's level of perfectionism, and I know she's not happy with this.
I hate it so much, but the yarn was $22 USD, so
I
can't
know.
just throw it out.
Can you unwind it?
I guess, but then what? But then I would have unwound yarn.
There you go.
That's kind of cute.
It probably fit your little head. Did you actually
make a hat?
Make a hat with little cat ears?
Did I make a hat?
I think you did.
Stop!
I think you did. I think you made a cat ear hat.
Yay!
Cause that ain't keeping a book protected.
You're killing me. I was gonna go. Come back, come back. Oh, girl. Oh, the sides.
To be fair, it took you like an hour to do.
It took me several hours.
I don't know
of
how long.
relaxation that I'll never get back.
This is like, you're like, this is the last time I'm ever doing anything fun again.
Yeah, literally. Okay. Lesson learned.
It could fit a smaller book. Too bad all the books
bad I
we
don't know
read
any
are this
stupid-
exact size.
Too bad I don't know any stupid babies who want a cat hat. Doesn't know any better. Stupid baby with a big head. I never want to see it again, but also, like, I like this yarn so much. I don't want to, like, unwind it because then I'm gonna have. I don't know how to wind yarn into a ball. You just sort of like wrap it around. I don't know.
I love you, and you know. What else could this be? Felt. Literally roll it into a ball. It's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't make it worse.
Oh, hey!
Oh.
Oh!
Yeah, it's reversible.
Now put it on. Okay, that's cute.
Stop.
That's cute.
I'm not wearing it. I'm not wearing a goddamn book sock on my head.
It's not a book sock. It's clearly a cat hat.
I could, spark my dress boy. I could unstitch what I made, and then it could just be a lovely scarf for someone insane. I don't know.
Or it could be a pouch for something else.
Yeah, a pouch that's just totally open.
You could sew a zipper in this.
I'm not doing that.
It's a little pillow for the mini dolls. Stitch, add eyes.
Add eyes. Add eyes.
Oh my god.
How?
Sew a zipper on it. It could be a pencil case. I honestly like the cat hat. I think you should wear that out tomorrow.
I think I would rather die. It kind of fits perfectly though. I'm kind of mad actually. Hold on, I will ponder this.
Go ponder the orb.
Ponder this.
Oh god. That was funny. That was really expensive yarn. And she was definitely bullied into sewing it away. She wouldn't usually sew it at the sewing store. That's so funny. Oh, poor Stitch. Oh gosh. I love that you guys love Stitch so much. It makes me so happy. Esper Lady said playing games on the N64 virtual console to heal my inner child because I never got to play them as a kid. Yes! I know that feeling 1000%. I also didn't have an N64, so playing N64 games is so exciting. Yes, you could sew a little snap button as a closure. Yes. Knowing Stitch though, she's just looking at it will make her mad. Spark Major, no! Kate says, but you have N64 now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I'm planning a Super Smash Bros. Tournament with my friends soon, where we can play it on N64 and then GameCube and then Wii and then Wii U and then Switch. Kate says, and soon you'll have more games. Yes, I will, because you're so kind. Me too, we. All right. Shall we begin to read? Which danmei character would crash out about their sewing, you think? Sienna is gonna be an auntie again. That's so awesome. Aww. That's wonderful. I will never be an aunt. That's kind of weird, because I don't have any brothers or sisters. But I could be like an auntie in spirit to my other friends, if they ever have kids. Chuaning. Yeah, I think that was definitely a little Chuaning crash out. I think she'd like to hear that. Quinn asks, what was the device you posted on Instagram? Oh, it is a secret! I had my own Chuaning hours. I think Chuaning would really fucking love Lego, actually. And I actually- okay, picture this. Moran gifts Chuaning Lego because he knows Chuaning likes Lego. But Chuaning thinks it is childish and doesn't want anyone to know that he does Lego. So when he opens his Lego at the company party, he is very embarrassed about it. And scolds Moran for it. But then, of course, when he goes home, he builds it in, like, 2 seconds and loves it. Wishin's Wig, I love how you worded that. Chuaning would definitely try to crochet something for Moran and then mess it up and crash out. He'd love Bionicles. Oh, it's the flower Lego one, and he has it on display. That's so cute. Oh my god. Wishin's Wig said Chuaning would build the fuck out of a Lego thing. 100%. A $700 Lego set is not childish, right? Like, Moran would be like, no, I specifically got you an adult one. Dear Z says, my nieces and nephews remind me why they don't have cousins. Plus, I don't want to pass on my health problems. Oof. Yeah, I'm not having kids either. Sparkmater says Bionicles are superior. I was not allowed to play with Bionicles. Quinn Silva, I can assure you that is not what I was making. Now I want to see Chuaning enjoying himself playing with Legos. Oh, the Lego flower set. That's so cute. That's so romantic. Kate says, I bet Chuaning would be so good at Mario Kart. Hell yeah. That's so funny. Ugh. And it, like, shocks Moran and Shuimeng. Like, they've been playing all day, and they think they're the best, and then they think Chuaning probably isn't gonna be good at it. And he fucking rips. Okay. Shall we read? Shall we skate? Okay, could somebody leave a comment on the video? Also, be sure to like the stream. And also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Actually, before we start, we have 4 minutes before it's been 30 minutes. I have like a YouTube rep now, which is really cool. It's like, I've made it. So I actually meet with him every 2 weeks and we go over the analytics on my channel and like we look at my watch time and see like what I can do to improve. And he said something I need to do more is remind people to subscribe. So, subscribe. Please, if you would like. Okay. Visual J has been a member for 6 months and says, I'm wrapped in a leaf-weighted blanket. A leaf-weighted blanket. I also have a weighted blanket, and it's awesome. And thank you so much, Jay, for being a member for 6 months. Half of a year. I really appreciate that. Subscribe or else. Sparkmater says, can I sub again? Sienna says, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard you say that in 24 months here. Right? Well, I'm gonna start saying it more now. Please like and subscribe, okay? Alright. Chapter 6. the Malevolent. Right then, the unconscious Jinling suddenly sat up. In front of the others he staggeringly crawled to his feet with eyes still closed. Wei Wuxian wanted to see exactly what he was going to do, so he didn't move. He saw Jinling slowly bypass him, then lift his leg and step into the wall anew, exactly where he had just been buried. He laid his hands by his sides. Even his posture was exactly the same as before. Wei Wuxian yanked him out of the wall again, both amused and weirded out. Just as he was going to tell Lan Wangji that they shouldn't stick around, a sudden angry barking from the distance made him jolt. Ever since they had gone inside, the black-haired spirit dog had been obediently sitting outside the hole, wagging its tail. It was at once pitiful and anxious as it waited for them to bring its master back out, so it didn't make any more noise. Yet now it was roaring even more viciously than before. "Something is amiss outside the bunker," Lan Wangji said. He reached out to help support Jinling, but Wei Wuxian rushed to carry the boy on his back. "Let's go out and see." The two swiftly went back the way they'd come. As they bent down and exited the hole, they saw that the black-haired spirit dog had its back facing them and was growling in a particular direction. Wei Wuxian braced himself and tried to go over, but he just couldn't bear to listen to that sound and unconsciously backed up a number of steps. But the dog had only to turn its head once and noticed he was carrying Jinling before it came dashing over. Wei Wuxian wailed, but just as he was about to throw Jinling off his back, Lan Wangji sidestepped and blocked the dog. The black-haired spirit dog immediately halted, then dropped its tail. It didn't pant because there was something dangling from its jaws. Lan Wangji went over, bent down, and took out a piece of cloth from between its teeth. He returned to pass it to Wei Wuxian to see. It seemed to be a piece of a robe's hem. There must have been someone who was spying or wandering nearby, and the person must have acted suspiciously. Otherwise, the black-haired spirit dog wouldn't have barked with such animosity. Wei Wuxian said, "They're not far away. Chase after them." However, Lan Wangji said, "No need. I know who it is." "Me too," Wei Wuxian said. "The same people who spread the Jinglu Ridge rumors, unleashed the walking corpses, set up the maze array, and built the stone fortress, and those sabers. But if we don't catch them now, it'll be hard to track them down later." "I will give chase. You and Jinling?" Lan Wangji asked. "I'll take him down to Jinglu Ridge and find a place in Qinghe to settle him. The place where we ran into that quack doctor. Let's meet up there." The exchange was extremely rushed, and Lan Wangji only paused for a moment. But still, Wei Wuxian added, "Go on, take any longer and they'll get away. I'll be there." At the "I'll be there," Lan Wangji gave him a deep look. Without another word, he turned to take his leave. Dude, this is the first time Lan Wangji's had him out of his sight where he's not supposed to be locked in a room or something. He's not within the cloud recesses. He can't keep him. Imagine the anxiety that fucking Lan Wangji must be feeling right now to have that trust that Wei Wuxian will stay. The black-haired spirit dog instantly moved to pounce at him once more, and Wei Wuxian wailed immediately, "Wait, wait, wait, wait! Take the dog with you! Take the dog!" And so Lan Wangji had no choice but to turn back. He gave the black-haired spirit dog a domineering look, and it didn't dare disobey, whimpering pitifully as it followed behind Lan Wangji. Lan Wangji giving a dog a domineering look is really funny. As it went along, it still gazed back at Jinling every few steps. Wei Wuxian wiped his sweat, then glanced back at those eerily white stone bunkers, resettled Jinling on his back, and went straight down Jinglu Ridge. It was near dusk by then. He carried an unconscious youth on his back, both of them covered in dirt and looking to be in quite a sorry state, and for this they attracted frequent looks from passerbys on the road. Wei Wuxian returned to the street where Jinling had called his dog to chase him earlier that day and found an inn. He used the money he'd fished from Lan Wangji's person to buy 2 sets of new clothing and asked for a room. He pulled off Jinling's robes, wrinkly from being buried in the earth, but with embroidery of the sparks amidst snow, family insignia still clear upon them. However, as he proceeded to pull off his boots, he stopped abruptly. On Jinling's calf, there seemed to be a patch of shadow. Wei Wuxian crouched down and rolled his pant leg up. In doing this, he discovered it wasn't a shadow, but a bruise. This wasn't a bruise from an injury. Rather, it was the mark of an evil curse. A curse mark was a special blemish that evil spirits left on their prey. When it appeared, it meant that the person had encountered something exceedingly wicked, and that something would definitely come back to claim its target. Perhaps it would bide its time and take ages to come calling, or perhaps it would come that very night. In milder cases, it would simply remove the marked limb. In serious cases, it simply took your life. Jinling's entire leg had turned black, and that mark was still festering further upward. Wei Wuxian had never seen a curse mark with such a dense black color, nor one spreading across this wide of an area. The more he inspected, the more grave its expression became. He dropped Jinling's pant leg and undid Jinling's inner robe. Seeing his chest and abdomen areas were clear and that the curse mark hadn't yet spread that far, he sighed a breath of relief. Right then, Jinling opened his eyes. He was dazed for a good while, his body bare and exposed to the chilly breeze. Then he suddenly snapped awake and scrambled upright in a hurry, his face flushing as he yelled, What are you doing?" Wei Wuxian laughed. "Hi, you're awake." It seemed Jinling was greatly shaken. He grabbed his inner robes, shrinking into the corner of the bed. "What were you gonna do? Where are my clothes? Where's my sword? Where's my dog?" "I was just going to dress you," Wei Wuxian said. His expression and tone of voice were as compassionate as that of an old grandma wanting to add warm layers for her little grandson. Jinling clung to the wall, his hair loose and disheveled. "I'm not a cut sleeve!" Wei Wuxian was delighted. "What a coincidence! I am!" Oh my god. Jinling grabbed his sword from the side of the bed, looking very much like he was going to kill himself to protect his honor should Wei Wuxian come a step closer. Wei Wuxian had to expend real effort to stop laughing. He said, hugging his belly, "What are you so scared for? It's just a joke. I worked so hard to dig you out of that wall. Aren't you even gonna say thanks?" In the midst of all the kerfuffle, Jinling grabbed a fistful of his messy hair and smoothed it out to appear more presentable as he said angrily, "If not for that, the fact that you dared strip me, for that, I would have killed you 1,000,000 times." "Don't. Dying once was painful enough," Wei Wuxian said. All right, put the sword down." I love how he just, like, said that outright to him. Still in a mess of confusion, Jinling put his sword down as told. During the inquiry session, his living soul had left his body and he couldn't remember much of anything. Despite this, he did vaguely know that the person in front of him was the one who had dug him out and carried him the entire way down the mountain. After he'd gotten buried inside that wall, there had been a period of time when he was still conscious, and the fear and despair in his heart had entirely consumed him. He'd never imagined the one who'd break through that wall, who'd save him from his fear and despair, would be this man, whom he detested at first sight. His face changed colors, paling and flushing, blushing and embarrassed. His thoughts were flurries in the air, floating without a place to land. Suddenly, he noticed the sky outside the window was already darkening, the night scarcely scattered with stars, and was instantly alarmed at the sight. It just so happened that Wei Wuxian had bent down to pick up the new clothes scattered on the ground, so Jinling hopped off the bed, pulled on his boots, grabbed his outer robe, and ran out the door. Wei Wuxian had thought he'd be mopey for at least a few hours after enduring such torture. Who could have known the youths were so full of energy, jumping around perfectly fine again in the blink of an eye, running out and disappearing from sight in a flash. Remembering that dire-looking curse mark on his leg, Wei Wuxian quickly yelled after him, "What are you running for? Come back!" Jinling kept sprinting as he draped his wrinkled and dirty family robe back on, yelling back, "Don't follow me!" He was lithe and his legs long, and it took only a handful of strides for him to charge out of the inn. Wei Wuxian chased after him for a number of streets and was finally actually thrown off his trail. After searching around, twilight was looming, and the crowds on this street were dwindling. Wei Wuxian gritted his teeth. Outrageous! That child is absolutely outrageous! With no other choice, he was about to give up. Just then, the furious voice of a man came from ahead, at the end of the long street. "I only scolded you a little, and you decide to run off and disappear. Are you a spoiled young mistress? Your temper's getting worse by the day." "Chung!" Wei Wuxian quickly ducked into an alleyway. Soon after, Jinling's voice came as well. "Didn't I already come back perfectly fine? Stop nagging me!" So Jinling didn't come to Qinghe alone. No wonder. Chung was there to assist him last time at Mount Defan, so why would Chung was there to assist him last time at Mount Defan, so why wouldn't he come this time? But judging by the state of things, the two had a fight at Qinghe town, which is why Jinling had climbed Xinglu Ridge alone. He must have run off in such a rush earlier because Chung had threatened to teach him a lesson if he didn't return by nightfall, or something along those lines. "Hi, cats, cows." "Perfectly fine?" Chung scolded. "You look like you rolled in the gutters, and you're telling me perfectly fine? Aren't you embarrassed wearing your family's uniform like this? Hurry back and change this instant. Say it right now. What did you run into today?" Jinling replied, irritated. "I already said I didn't run into anything. I tripped and fell. This trek was a total waste of time. Ow!" He yowled. "Don't pinch me like that. I'm not 3. Zhang Cheng berated him sharply. Oh, so you think I can't manage you anymore? Let me tell you, even when you're 30, I can still pinch you. If you dare run off on your own without saying anything again, the whip will be ready. It's precisely because I don't want anyone's help that I don't want anyone managing me, that I went alone, Jinling protested. Wei Wuxian thought. Everything else aside, Zhang Cheng saying he has the temper of a spoiled young mistress really is right on the money. And now? Zhang Cheng demanded. What did you catch? Where's the black-haired spirit dog your uncle gave you? Taken by Lan Zhan to who knows where, Wei Wuxian was just thinking when, at the other end of the alley, there came familiar barking. Wei Wuxian's face changed drastically, his legs moving on their own. He charged out like a nasty arrow was hot on his trail. The black-haired spirit dog dashed over from the other side of the alleyway, past Wei Wuxian, and pounced on Jinling's leg, wagging its tail with great affection. Since the dog had appeared, that meant Lamonji had most likely caught the spy that had been lurking near the stone bunkers and gone to their appointed meeting place. However, at this moment, Wei Wuxian didn't have the time to think about that. His mad dash had just so happened to bring him in front of Zhang Cheng and Jinling, as well as a group of Zheng sect disciples. Both parties froze for a moment, then Wei Wuxian silently turned on his heel to flee. He hadn't run very far before he heard the sizzling sound of lightning and a long purple electric current wrapped around his calf like a venomous snake. A paralyzing pain flowed through his body from top to bottom. Then he was yanked back, instantly collapsing to the ground. After that, he felt the front of his chest tighten. Someone had picked him up by the back of his robe. With astonishing speed, Wei Wuxian reached to grab for his spirit-trapping pouch, but it was taken away from him before he could manage. With him firmly in his grasp, Zhang Cheng took a few steps, walked to the nearest inn, and kicked open the door that was already half shut. The inn owner had just been about to close down for the night, but suddenly there was a handsome and ill-tempered man in noble and elegant dress kicking his door open and storming in. That same guest was dragging someone with him, looking very much like he was going to cut the person's stomach open right there, and the inn owner was scared mute. A sect disciple came over, explained the situation to him in low whispers, and stuffed up any further protests with money. The inn owner then quickly hid in the back hall. There was no need for instructions. The Zheng clan disciples quickly spread out, surrounding the inn inside and out, guarding the place so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Jinling stood on the side, looking like he wanted to speak, bewildered and uncertain. Zhang Cheng barked at him fiercely. I'll deal with you in a moment. Stand right there and don't move. Ever since he could remember, Jinling had never seen such an expression on Zhang Cheng's face before. This uncle of his, who from a young age had single-handedly led the reputable cultivation sect of the Zheng clan of Yunmeng, had always been coldly stern and somber, and the words he spoke were merciless and unkind. And yet now, though he was desperately trying to suppress any unnecessary expression, his eyes still flashed with terrifying light. That face was forever colored by pride, twisted by sneers, and veiled by gloom. But now, it was as though it had brightened. It was hard to tell whether he was gritting his teeth with bone-deep hatred or whether he was feral with joy. Damn, that's like quite the description for Zhang Cheng. That face was forever colored by pride, twisted by sneers, and veiled by gloom. Everyone can tell Zhang Cheng is so fucking sad. Lend me your dog, Zhang Cheng said. Jinling snapped out of his shock and hesitated for a moment. Zhang Cheng's gaze, sharp as lightning, came sweeping over, and only then did Jinling whistle. The black-haired spirit dog scurried over in a few trots. Wei Wuxian was frozen stiff as an iron board and could only let the man drag him, stumbling along step by step. Zhang Cheng found an empty room and threw Wei Wuxian inside. The door closed behind him. The black-haired dog... There is a punctuation error in this. This T is not capitalized. The black-haired dog followed in behind, sitting by the entrance. Both of Wei Wuxian's eyes were glued to it, high on guard in case it came pouncing over. Reflecting on how he'd been so quickly apprehended, Wei Wuxian thought to himself that Zhang Cheng really did know him like the back of his hand. Aw. That's so sad. As Wei Wuxian ruminated, Zhang Cheng slowly sat down by the table and poured himself a cup of tea. The two were silent for a long while. The cup of tea was steaming. Without having drunk a single sip, Jung Chung suddenly and viciously hurled it to the ground. No! Taking a book from... Whoa, I fucking throw my own tea on the ground. Shenzhou flashback. That's what I was about to say. Without having drunk a single sip, Jung Chung suddenly and viciously hurled it to the ground. The corner of Jung Chung's lip curled up slightly. Do you have nothing to say to me? Growing up together, Jung Chung had lost count of how many times he'd witnessed the pathetic way Wei Wuxian dashed madly from the jaws of dogs. It was fine if Wei Wuxian refused to admit it to others, but this was something Jung Chung knew so very well, and nothing Wei Wuxian could talk his way out of. This was a test more difficult to pass than facing Zidian. Wei Wuxian replied earnestly, "I don't know what to say to you." Jung Chung said softly, "You won't repent, just as expected." Their conversations back then were always filled with fleet-footed sarcasm. They were constantly trying to pull the rug out from under each other, so Wei Wuxian replied without thinking, "You haven't improved at all either." Jung Chung laughed out of sheer anger. "Very good. Let us see then. Who's the one who hasn't improved in the least?" He remained seated and unmoving at the table, but gave a shout. At the sound, the black-haired spirit dog immediately stood at attention. Being in the same room as this creature already had Wei Wuxian in a cold sweat, but seeing a vicious dog half the size of a grown man appearing inches in front of him in an instant with its teeth bared, its ears perked, and its eyes sharp, the sound of its low growling sounding by his ears, waves of numbness coursed through him from the bottoms of his feet to the top of his head. He didn't remember much anymore of his time wandering the streets homeless when he was younger. The only thing he did remember was the panic of being chased and the unbearable pain of the sharp teeth and claws of dogs digging into his flesh. The fear had been deeply planted in his heart back then and could not fade or be overcome, no matter what. Suddenly, Jung Chung gave him a side eye. "What's your name?" Wei Wuxian's wits were so scrambled that he couldn't recall whether he said anyone's name right then. It wasn't until Jung Chung commanded the black-haired spirit dog to retreat that he arduously regained himself. After blanking for a moment, he retched his head back. Jung Chung, meanwhile, had left his seat. A horsewhip hung askew on his waist, and he rested his hand over it, bending down to regard Wei Wuxian's face. After a brief pause, he straightened up. He said, "Speaking of, I forgot to ask you, since when have you gotten along so well with Lam Wangji?" Wei Wuxian instantly figured out whose name he blurted out unconsciously just now. Jung Chung smiled darkly. It really is curious why he went to such lengths to protect you, that time at Mount Dafan. He then quickly corrected himself. No, the one Lam Wangji was protecting might not have been you. After all, there is no way the Lan clan of Gusu would forget what you and that loyal dog of yours have done. How could someone like him, so lauded for his manners and solemn righteousness, possibly tolerate you? Perhaps he shares some sort of relationship with this body you've stolen. Oh my god, the fact that no one would ever think Lan Wangji is in love with Wei Wuxian, the fact that that's so ridiculous, they think that Lan Wangji must be fucking Mo Shenyu, is crazy. His words were harsh and cruel. Everything he said was backhanded praise, heavy with implication. Wei Wuxian couldn't listen anymore. He said, "Watch your tongue." "I never do. Did you forget that, perhaps?" Jung Chung said. That's kind of hot. That's kind of hot. Come on. That's pretty spicy. "I must have," Wei Wuxian said derisively. Jung Chung snorted, "As if you're one to tell me to watch my tongue. Did you remember to watch your tongue with Jin Ling back at Mount Dafan?" Wei Wuxian's face instantly stiffened. Jung Chung, having cornered him again, appeared to brighten up once more. He sneered. "Didn't your mother teach you any manners? What an excellent rebuke. So well said." "The reason there's so much talk behind Jinling's back is all thanks to you. An elder of your eminence is apt to forget. You've forgotten the things you've said, forgotten the promises you've made. but don't you dare forget exactly how his parents died. Oh god. Oh, Chung Chung is in so much pain. He is so traumatized, obviously, from that, but also forgetting the promises you made. That's like Chung Chung's main thing with Wei Wuxian, because Wei Wuxian promised to be by his side, and then when he wasn't, like, oh god, the fact that, you know, deep down Chung Chung still wants that. Ugh. This is such a good scene. This is so juicy. Like, just like a juicy, good drama scene, you know? Wei Wuxian's head shot up. I didn't forget! I was only... But no matter how he tried, he came up short on how to continue after that. Only what? Are you tongue-tied? That's alright. You can return to Lotus Pier, kneel before my parents' altar, and take your time to think about what to say. Wei Wuxian composed himself, his mind turning rapidly as he tried to think of a way to get out of this. Although he missed Lotus Pier desperately, the place he wanted to return to wasn't the Lotus Pier of today, which had changed beyond recognition. Suddenly, there was the sound of urgent footfalls dashing close. The door banged with the sound of someone slapping palms. Jinling was calling from outside the room. Jojo! Chung Chung raised his voice. Didn't I tell you to stay where you are? What are you doing here? Jojo, I have something very important to tell you! Jinling exclaimed. What's so important that you have to say it right now instead of when I was scolding you earlier? Chung Chung demanded. Jinling retorted angrily. It's because you kept scolding me earlier that I didn't say anything. Do you want to listen or not? If not, then I'm not going to tell you anymore. Chung Chung flung the door open, fuming. Out with it then! Scram! Jinling stepped inside the room... out with it, then scram! Jinling stepped inside the moment the wood door opened. He had already changed into a new set of white uniform robes. I actually did run into something really troublesome today. I think I ran into Wen Ning. Chung Chung's brows knitted, and his hand was immediately on his sword. He looked murderous. When? Where? This afternoon, Jinling said. About 5 kilometers from here. There's a dilapidated house. I only went there because I heard there'd been unusual sightings. Who knew a fierce corpse was hidden inside? Jinling made it sound so real, but every word Wei Wuxian heard was a bald-faced lie. He knew better than anyone where Jinling had been earlier this afternoon. Besides, once Wen Ning went into hiding, unless Wei Wuxian summoned him directly, he would never allow a junior to discover his trail so easily. Why didn't you say so sooner? Chung Chung said. I wasn't sure, Jinling said. The fierce corpse moved extremely fast. The moment I went over, it fled, and I only just caught a glimpse of its shadow before it got away. But back at Mount Fan, I heard those chains that were on him, which was why I wonder if it might be him. If you didn't yell at me so much, I would have told you the moment I got back, and now if he's run off and you don't manage to catch him, you'll have to blame your own bad temper, not me. He clearly wanted to poke his head in further, but Chung Chung angrily shut the door in his face with a bang. He said through the door, I'll deal with you later, beat it! Jinling owed at the sound of his footsteps, retreated into the... Jinling owed, and the sound of his footsteps retreated into the distance. Seeing Chung Chung turn around, Wei Wuxian quickly screwed his face into a complicated expression, as if he were losing color from alarm, as if panicked thoughts were racing through his mind. My secret's been found out! What to do? Wen Ning's been discovered! Jinling was pretty clever. He knew Chung Chung hated Wen Ning to the very marrow of his bones and was able to lie to his face on the spot, and so smoothly, too. Chung Chung had known the Yiling Patriarch often appeared together with the Ghost General to wreak havoc, and he already suspected that Wen Ning was nearby. On hearing Jinling's story, he believed it 60%. After Wei Wuxian's reaction, he believed it another 20%. On top of that, he was engulfed with rage. Whenever he heard Wen Ning's name, his anger surging to his head, so he had no sense left in him to doubt. His chest was going to explode from fury. He raised the whip, lashing the ground right next to Wei Wuxian. He spat hatefully. You really do take that good, obedient dog of yours everywhere. He's already a dead man, and I was dead once too. What more do you want from us? Wei Wuxian asked. Chung Chung pointed at him with the whip. What more do I want? He can die 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and my hatred will not be appeased. Since he didn't perish back then. Very good. I will destroy him myself today. I will burn him to ashes. Right now. Right in front of you. He slammed the door in his wake, barking instructions to Jinling in the main hall. Watch the man in the room carefully. Don't believe anything he says. Don't listen to anything he says. Don't let him utter a single sound. If he dares to whistle or play the flute, gag him. If you can't, cut off his hands or watch his tongue. Cut off his hands or his tongue. Wei Wuxian knew Zheng Cheng said that purposely for him to hear, to threaten him to not try anything funny, and of course not taking him along was guarding against Wei Wuxian seizing the opportunity to control Wen Ning. However, Jinling didn't sound worried in the least. I got it. It's not like I don't know how to watch someone. Jojo, what were you doing, locked in the room with that damn cut sleeve? What do you do now? Zheng Cheng replied, that's none of your business. Remember to keep a good eye on him. If he disappears, so help me, I'll break your legs. He then demanded the general direction of his target and set off to pursue the non-existent Wen Ning with half the disciples in tow. After a brief wait, Jinling's arrogant voice issued a command. You, go over there. You, go stand watch on the side. You guys, stand by the main entrance. I'm gonna go in and have a talk with him. The sect disciples didn't dare disobey and acknowledged the order. A short moment later, the door to the room was opened and Jinling's head poked in, his eyes shining with pride at his own cleverness. Wei Wuxian sat up and Jinling raised a finger to his lips. He walked in lightly and placed his hand on Zidian, mumbling an incantation under his breath. Zidian would only obey the command of one it acknowledged as a legitimate owner. Zheng Cheng must have instructed it to recognize Jinling as such, since the electrical current quisized? How the fuck do you say that word? Q-U-I-E-S-C-E-D. Instantly. The whip transformed into a silver ring adorned with a purple crystal, which dropped into Jinling's fair-skinned palm. Jinling whispered, Go. The sept disciple of the Zheng clan of Yunmeng had been scattered everywhere at his haphazard orders, and making use of the disorder, the two tiptoed to make their escape by hopping out the window and scrambling up the wall. Once out of the inn, they bolted soundlessly. After running into the forest, Wei Wuxian heard an unusual sound behind him. When he looked back, he completely lost his mind with terror. Why is it following us too? Tell it to go away! Jinling blew 2 short whistles. The black-haired spirit dog panted with its long, lolling tongue, whined and flicked its pointy ears a few times, then turned around and ran off, looking depressed. Jinling said derisively, You're so useless. Fairy never bites anyone. It only looks ferocious. That's all. You see a spirit dog that's undergone strict training and only bites evil creatures, and you take it for an average canine? Hold up, Wei Wuxian said. What did you call it? Fairy. That's its name, Jinling replied. You gave a dog a name like that? Wei Wuxian was shocked. Jinling replied with full confidence. What's wrong with that? When it was little, it was called Little Fairy. I can't keep calling it that now that it's grown. Wei Wuxian had to dispute this explanation. No, that's not the issue. Who taught you how to name pets? But there was no doubt in Wei Wuxian's mind that it must have been his uncle. Zheng Cheng had also kept several puppies in the past, and they were all named something like Jasmine, Fei Fei, Xiao Ai, or other such wanton brothel names. Jinling said, Men don't bother with such trifling matters, so why are you nitpicking this? Alright, stop. After offending my uncle, you would have lost half your life for sure. Now that I'm letting you go, we're even. Quiesced. Quiesced? He quiesced? Damn. Learning new words. I can't remember what I was gonna say. I paused to say something. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Something about Zheng Cheng. Do you know why your uncle apprehended me? Wei Wuxian asked. Yeah, he suspects you're Wei Wuxian. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. There are so many instances of people being upset with names in this book. Like, Wei Wuxian naming his sword, Lan Wangji naming his Guqin Wanji. The fact that how they named Jinling naming his dogs. Like, naming is like a big fucking thing in this book. Yeah, he suspects you're Wei Wuxian, Jinling said. Wei Wuxian thought, it's not suspicion this time. He's caught the right person. Then he asked, what about you? Aren't you suspicious? It's not the first time my uncle has done something like this, Jinling said. He would always rather catch the wrong person than let them go. But since Zidian couldn't whip out your soul, I've determined for now that you can't be him. Besides, that Wei guy isn't a cut sleeve, but you still dared to harass... He didn't say to whom the harassment was directed, cutting off the topic with a violent shudder, then waving him off like he was shooing away the god of misfortune. Either way, from today onward, you are no longer affiliated with the Jin clan of Ling. Don't come knocking on my family's door if you're gonna be all nutty. Otherwise, I won't let you off easy. Jinling turned to leave after he'd said his piece. However, after taking a few steps, he turned his head back. What are you standing around for? Are you waiting for my uncle to come and catch you? Let me make this clear. Don't think I'll be grateful to you just because you saved me, and don't expect me to say anything sappy either. Wei Wuxian strode over with his hands clasped behind his back. Young man, sometimes in life there are a few sappy things one must say. What? Jinling asked. Thank you, and I'm sorry, Wei Wuxian replied. Jinling clicked his tongue. Well, I refuse. What are you gonna do about it? There'll come a day when you'll say them through tears, Wei Wuxian said. Jinling scoffed, and Wei Wuxian suddenly said it himself. I'm sorry. Jinling was taken aback. What? What I said to you back at Mount Fan. I'm sorry, Wei Wuxian said. It wasn't the first time Jinling had heard the accusation. Mother didn't teach your manners. But no one had ever apologized so earnestly before. To be hit right in the face with a sorry left him not knowing what to feel, and surprisingly, he became altogether uncomfortable. He waved wildly and humphed. It's nothing. It's not like you're the first person to say that anyway. It's true I don't have a mother, but I'm not any less than anyone just because of that. In any case, I'm gonna make everyone see clearly that I'm much stronger than all of you. Wei Wuxian smiled and was about to speak when his face suddenly changed colors. He exclaimed, stunned, Zheng Cheng, you! Jinling had stolen Zidian and released the man. He was already feeling jumpy. The moment he heard that name, he spun around in a hurry, and Wei Wuxian took the chance to hand chop his neck. He laid Jinling down on the ground and rolled up his trouser cuff to inspect the curse mark on his leg. He tried a few methods, but none made the mark fade. Knowing this to be a troublesome affliction, he let out a sigh a moment later. While he couldn't dissolve the curse mark, he could transfer it to his own body. It was a while before Jinling slowly came to. He felt his neck, where a slight pain still lingered. He was so angry, he leapt up and pulled his sword out on the spot. You actually hit me! Not even my uncle has hit me before! Aw, I love hearing that. That Zheng Cheng threatens him so much, but has never actually hit him. Wei Wuxian was shocked. Really? Didn't he always say he was gonna break your legs? He's all talk, Jinling exclaimed furiously. You damn cut sleeve, what are you up to? Wei Wuxian hugged his head and cried at a target behind Jinling. Ah! Hengguanjun! Jinling was more scared of Lan Wangji than he was of his uncle, since his uncle was family, but Hengguanjun was not. Stricken, he turned and fled, yelling as he ran. You damn cut sleeve! Cursed lunatic! I'll remember this! We're not done! Wei Wuxian was laughing so hard at his retreat that he couldn't breathe. Once Jinling was gone, he felt a dull tickle in his chest. He coughed for a bit before slowly reining in his laughter. Only then did he have the time to think upon other things. Wei Wuxian had been 9 years old when Zheng Fengmian carried him home. The memories he had of that time were mostly blurry by now, but Jinling's mother, Zheng Yanli, remembered and had told him of it. She said that when her father learned of the death of Wei Wuxian's parents, Zheng Fengmian had been determined to search for the child his old friend had left behind. He searched for a long time before finally finding that child in the Yiling area. The first time he set eyes on the child, he was kneeling on the ground, eating fruit peels that others had thrown away. Winters and springs in Yiling were very cold. This child's clothing was threadbare, with the knees worn to tatters, and he clumsily balanced on his toes in 2 different shoes, neither on the right size. Although he was deeply immersed in rummaging for fruit peels, when Zheng Fengmian called out to him, he still remembered his name had a ying in it and looked up. Scorpius, thank you for joining my membership! His cheeks were red and cracked from the cold, but he still wore a smile. And Guy the Pirate Witch, thank you for being a member for 10 months! I really appreciate that! Thank you so much! Zheng Yanli said he had been born with a smiling face, a natural smiling fortune. No sadness would be taken to heart, and he could be cheerful under any circumstance. It made him sound like a simpleton, but it was a good thing. Zheng Fengmian fed Wei Wuxian a mere piece of melon, and that was enough for him to let Zheng Fengmian take him back. Zheng Cheng had been only 8 or 9 at the time and kept several puppies as pets at Lotus Pier. Zheng Fengmian noticed Wei Wuxian was terrified of dogs, so he softly instructed Zheng Cheng to give those puppies away. This part makes me so sad. I feel so sad for him. Zhang Cheng was very unwilling to do so and threw a tantrum complete with hurling things, furious glares, and tearful, hysterical outbursts. However, in the end, the dogs were still sent away. Thank you, Visual J, for sending a membership. I know, the fact that Zhang Cheng, he had to give away his puppies, it really makes me so sad. And he, you know, he threw a hysterical outburst and everything, and he still sent the dogs away. Although he harbored animosity towards Wei Wuxian because of this for a long time, after the two grew close, they henceforth became a true disaster duo that wreaked havoc wherever they went. When they ran into dogs after this, Zhang Cheng was always the one chasing them off, and laughing unreservedly at the boy who leapt up to the top of the trees to avoid them. Wei Wuxian slowly walked to the place where he and Lan Wangji had agreed to meet. There was barely any lights and no one at the streets at night. He didn't need to look around. That white-clad form was standing at the end of the long street, his head hanging slightly, unmoving. Wei Wuxian hadn't yet called out in greeting when Lan Wangji already looked up, spotting him. After their eyes met for a moment, he stalked over with a grim face. Wei Wuxian unconsciously took a step back for some reason. CSCL says, I don't know what else they could have done though. Wei Wuxian's trauma had to be acknowledged. Oh, 100%. It just doesn't mean that it's not sad for Zhang Cheng. And even in the extended flashback, I think we get to see that Zhang Cheng was like, no, I'd rather have a brother, like I don't want you to go away, Wei Wuxian. It's just like so upsetting. And it's in there to prove that, like, you know, Zhang Cheng is like the firstborn son, and Zhang Fengmian had such a soft spot for Wei Wuxian regardless. CSCL says, oh, absolutely, it's heartrending, but it's worse to not be able to think of an alternative. Yeah, definitely. He could almost see the blood turning Lan Wangji's eyes red. He had to say, Lan Wangji was looking mighty scary. Yet, unexpectedly, with just that step back, he stumbled and looked almost as if he was going to fall. Lan Wangji's face changed, and he dashed over, firmly gripping Wei Wuxian's wrist, just like he had back at Mount Dafan, steadying him. He bent one knee to the ground, reaching to check his leg. Wei Wuxian was quite shocked. He quickly said, Don't, Heng Guanzhun, you don't have to do that. Lan Wangji looked up slightly, his light-colored eyes gazing at him. Then he lowered his head and continued to roll up his trouser leg. Wei Wuxian's hand was still in his clutches. He couldn't get away, and so he could only look up to the sky. His leg was completely covered with a bruising black curse mark. Lan Wangji stared at it for a good moment before he said, greatly embittered at the sight, I was only gone for a few hours. Wei Wuxian shrugged. Several hours is a long time. Anything can happen. Come now. You may rise. He pulled Lan Wangji to his feet and continued. It's only a normal curse mark. When the evil spirit comes to seek me out, I'll just smash it to bits. Of course, Heng Guanzhun, you'll have to help me. If you don't, I won't be able to handle it. Did you catch that person? Was it him? Where is he? Lan Wangji moved his gaze to the shop sign of an inn down the street, and Wei Wuxian said, Let's resolve the matter of the stone fortress first. Then he headed toward that inn. He hadn't noticed it before, but now he felt his legs were a bit numb, probably from getting shocked by Zidian. Thankfully, Zhang Cheng knew how to control Zidian's power and didn't completely turn him into a charred, electric, sparking corpse. Lan Wangji, standing behind him, suddenly called out, Wei Ying. Wei Wuxian faltered for a moment, then quickly responded like he hadn't heard that name. What is it? That was transferred from Jin Ling? Lan Wangji asked. It wasn't truly a question, but a statement. Wei Wuxian didn't comment, and Lan Wangji continued. You ran into Zhang Wanyin. On top of the curse marks were marks left by Zidian, so this wasn't difficult to deduce. Wei Wuxian spun around. As long as we both live in this world, we'll meet sooner or later. Stop. Don't go, Lan Wangji said. Why? Are you gonna carry me? Wei Wuxian said. ... Lan Wangji gazed at him quietly, and the smile hanging off of Wei Wuxian's lips froze. A foreboding shadow arose in his mind. If this was the Lan Wangji of the past, he would have been stumped by the joke, put on a cold face, and left, or ignored him completely. But the Lan Wangji of now, it really was hard to say how he would react. Sure enough, when Lan Wangji heard him, he moved in front of Wei Wuxian and seemed to really be bending at the knees, lowering himself to carry him on his back. Wei Wuxian was stunned once again. He quickly said, "Hold on, wait, I was joking. I just got zapped by Zidian a couple times, that's all. It's not like my legs are broken. A full-grown man needing to be carried on someone's back is too unsightly." Is it unsightly? Lan Wangji asked. "Is it not?" Wei Wuxian countered. After a moment of silence, Lan Wangji said, "But you've also carried me on your back before." "Really? How come I don't remember?" Wei Wuxian said. Lan Wangji replied impassively, "You never remember these things." Oh my god. You never remember all these things that made me gay for you. "Everyone says my memory's bad. Fine, it is what it is. Either way, that's a no." "You really don't want to?" Lan Wangji pushed. Wei Wuxian refused categorically. No. The two stared at each other in a stalemate for a moment. Then suddenly, one of Lan Wangji's arms circled around his back. He bent forward slightly while the other hand swept beneath the crooks of Wei Wuxian's knees. Wei Wuxian was smaller and lighter in build, so he was easily swept up, his body held in midair by a pair of strong arms. Wei Wuxian had never expected this to be the end of his no. Whether in the past or present life, this was the very first time he'd been treated this way by anyone. Misai, thank you for your donation. Misai says there's a line missing in the first edition print right before Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji meet on the bridge. It was on the Errata on 7th Sea's website. Oh, what? I want to see that. 7th Sea. Okay, I'm on 7th Sea's danmei website. Where do I find that? Series. Grand Master of Demonic Cultivation. Where do you find the what did you call it? Errata? Masai says he had always thought that Zheng Cheng would be on his side and that Lan Wangji on the side opposite to him. He could never have imagined that things would turn out so differently. Damn! That's a good line. How did they miss that line? I'm sure there's been a second print now that's fixed some of the punctuation and the errors like that, because this is definitely the one that I got like as soon as it came out. Interesting. Okay, Lan Wangji just picked him up. He cried in alarm, "Lan Zhan!" Lan Wangji, with Wei Wuxian in his arms, walked very steadily and answered very steadily. "You said not to carry you on my back." "But I didn't say to carry me like this," Wei Wuxian protested. Thankfully, night had already fallen, and there was no one on the streets, so it wasn't too embarrassing at least. Wei Wuxian wasn't a thin-skinned individual, so after being carried for a few steps, he relaxed. He batted at the sashes on Lan Wangji's chest and then laughed as he moved his hands as if to pull them apart. "You want to see who's more thick-skinned, right?" Girl! I like how it's like something a little bit gay happens and Wei Wuxian's goes like full gay. Wei Wuxian was awash in that refreshing scent of sandalwood. Lan Wangji didn't look at him, his eyes staring straight ahead, unmoved. Ever that incomparably upright, incomparably serious, indifferent face. Seeing how his words were falling on deaf ears, Wei Wuxian thought as he continued to play with the sashes. "Can't believe Lan Zhan is actually so vindictive. He wants to get revenge for every little thing I teased him with in the past, dousing my fun with that cold water of his. What progress. Not only did his cultivation improve, so did his thick skin." "Lan Zhan, did you already know it was me back at Mount Defan?" Wei Wuxian asked. Lan Wangji replied. "How?" Wei Wuxian was curious. Lan Wangji lowered his eyes. "You want to know?" "Yes," Wei Wuxian said affirmedly. "You told me yourself," Lan Wangji said. "Me? Because of Jin Ling? Because I summoned Wen Ning? It can't be any of that, can it?" Wei Wuxian wondered. A ripple seemed to stir the pool of Lan Wangji's eyes. However, this barely noticeable disturbance soon faded, and they immediately returned to deep, clear waters. He said sternly, "Think for yourself." "It's because I can't that I'm asking you," Wei Wuxian complained. This time, however, no matter how much he questioned, Lan Wangji kept his mouth shut and stopped responding. He entered the inn with Wei Wuxian in his arms, and aside from the clerk at the counter of the main hall who spat out his water, the other onlookers didn't act like anything was outrageous. Oh my god. Orion says Wei Wuxian is like, dare me to play gay chicken, please, please. Carly says, Lan Zhan, king of sass in disguise. I know, right? Oh my gosh. They came to the door of their room, and Wei Wuxian said, all right, we're here. You can put me down now. You don't have to hands to open. Before he finished, Lamanji performed an extremely indecorous act. This was perhaps the most boorish thing he'd ever done in his life. With Wei Wuxian in his arms, he kicked the door open. The two doors of the room sprang open, and the jittery person sitting inside immediately cried out, Hengguanjun, I don't know, I don't know. After seeing the way the two outside the door had made their entrance, he arduously finished, dumbstruck, I really don't know. Truly, the head shaker. Oh shit! It was as though Lamanji hadn't seen him. He carried Wei Wuxian inside, placing him on the mat. Ni Huaisang looked aghast and immediately opened his folding fan, blocking his own face. Wei Wuxian sized him up through that folding fan. This former classmate of his hadn't changed much over the years. He had been the same back then as he was now. He had a refined, scholarly face, yet always wore a submissive expression that made him look like an easy target for bullying into compliance. His outfit was tasteful, simple, but remarkable. He must have spent a lot of time putting it together. Rather than the leader of a sect, he more resembled the idle rich. Even in dragon robes, he wouldn't have had the air of a crown prince. Even bearing a long saber, he had not the air of a cultivation leader. He obstinately refused to admit anything, so Lamanji set down the piece of fabric the black-haired spirit dog had torn off. Ni Huaisang tried to cover the part of his sleeve that was missing. Pff, wow. I know, calling a man submissive is hilarious. I just happened to pass by. I really don't know anything, he said dolefully. Wei Wuxian said, let me speak then, since you don't know. Try and see if you know something after you've listened. Ni Huaisang hemmed and hawed, not knowing how to respond, so Wei Wuxian continued. There's talk of a man-eating ridge and a man-eating fortress in the Qinghe-Xinglu Ridge area, but there weren't any real victims, so it was only a rumor. This rumor would cause regular folks to stay away from Xinglu Ridge. Its real purpose is a line of defense, and that's only the first line. Where there is one, there are two. The second line of defense is the walking corpses at Xinglu Ridge. Even if there are normal folks who aren't afraid of the man-eating fortress rumor and trespass up the ridge, or happen to enter the ridge by accident, they would flee at the sight of the walking dead. Omega confirmed. However, those walking corpses are few in number and weak in strength, so they can't cause any real damage. The third line of defense is the maze array near the stone bunkers. The first two defenses were to guard against normal people, while this one guards against cultivators. However, its effect is limited to normal cultivators. As for cultivators equipped with spiritual devices or spiritual hounds, or those who specialize in destroying maze arrays, or distinguished persons of Hengguanzhen's level, this line of defense is easily unraveled. 3 lines of defense were erected for the purpose of hiding that stone fortress on Xinglu Ridge from discovery. It's more than evident who constructed that stone fortress. This is the domain of the Ni clan of Qinghe. Other than the Ni family, there is no one who could so easily set down 3 defense checkpoints in Qinghe. Besides, you just happened to appear near the stone fortress and left evidence behind. What purpose is the Ni clan of Qinghe constructing a man-eating fortress on Xinglu Ridge? Where did the corpses inside the walls come from? Were they devoured? Sect leader Ni, if you don't explain everything clearly today, when things get out later, the cultivation world will be knocking on your door for answers. When that time comes, even if you want to speak, no one will listen, nor will they believe you. Bitcoin says, he doesn't know, guys. He doesn't know. I don't know. Giving up, Ni Huaisang finally replied hopelessly, that's not a man-eating fortress at all. That's my family's ancestral grave. Ancestral grave? Wei Wuxian asked. Whose family has an ancestral grave that buries blades and not bodies? Ni Huaisang said with a long face, Hengguanzhen, before I say anything, will you promise that for the sake of our family's friendship and the fact that my older brother and your older brother were sworn brothers, that no matter what I say, you and the gentleman next to you will absolutely not tell And if this gets exposed in the future, please also help defend me and stand as witness. You have always been a man of your word. As long as you promise, I believe you. As you wish, Lamonji said. You said it's not a man-eating fortress, that it You said it's not a man-eating fortress, then has it devoured anyone? Ni Huaisang gritted his teeth and answered honestly, yes. Whoa, Wei Wuxian breathed. Ni Huaisang immediately added, but it was only the once! The primary fault didn't lie with our family, and besides, it was decades ago. The story of the man-eating fortress of Jinglu Ridge started back then. I only fanned the flames and exaggerated the rumors several-fold, that's all. Please elaborate, Lamonji said. He sat there, the threat beneath those well-mannered words palpable. Ni Huaisang began his slow and reluctant explanation. He said, Heng Guanzhun, you know our Ni family is different from the other prominent cultivation clans. Since our founding father was a butcher, the other clans all wield spiritual swords, while our clan wields sabers. Oh, there's a picture of my boy on the next page. This was a widely known fact, not a secret whatsoever. Even the insignia of the Ni clan of Qinghe was the savage head of a beast that looked both like a hound and a wild boar. Ni Huaisang continued, our cultivation method is different from the other clans, and with our founding father's butcher background, bloodshed was inevitable. The sabers wielded by our clan leaders throughout history have always been extremely heavy with resentment and killing aura. Almost every clan leader has suffered a chi deviation and died a violent death. Their characters were also irascible, and those sabers have a lot to do with it. Take Ni Huaisang's older brother, Ni Mingjue, for example. This young cultivation leader was sworn brothers with Lan Qichen and Jing Guanyao. Qi Fengzhen was decisive and resolute, dignified and magnanimous. Zhe Wuzhen was gentle like jade, noble and pure in character, and Lian Fengzhen smooth and resourceful, sharp-witted and intelligent. The three took an oath of sworn brotherhood during the Sunshot campaign and only kissed on the mouth sometimes. Just kidding about that last part. Oh, sorry, it's so bright. Let me fix that. Ooh. Look how sexy Ni Mingjue is. That's crazy. Ah! Orion says, hey guys, I have an idea for our cultivation style. It's bad and it kills us. Honestly. Oh, Jiggy, how I love thee. Flashbang through the door. The three took an oath of sworn brotherhood during the Sunshot campaign. Each had their own praiseworthy deeds and were later venerated as the Three Zun by the cultivation world. However, in the prime of his life, Ni Mingjue's chi deviated during an important symposium, and he died violently. I'm sorry, let me read that again. However, in the prime of his life, Ni Mingjue's chi deviated during an important symposium, and he died violently, his body bursting with blood. Many attendees of the symposium that day were injured while he was in the throes of madness, his dignified name, built up over a lifetime, fallen to such disgrace. Ni Huaisang must have been thinking of his older brother, for he looked downcast. He continued, while the clan leaders were still alive, the agitation of their sabers could be suppressed by their masters. However, once the masters were dead, they had no one to control them, so they would turn murderous. Wei Wuxian arched his brow. Well, that's hitting a bit close to the demonic cultivation path. Ni Huaisang quickly explained, it's different. The demonic path is called as such because it consumes human lives, but my family's sabers aren't after people. Rather, they're after all nefarious beings, such as resentful ghosts and belligerent spirits. They spend their entire lives exterminating those creatures, so if there's nothing for them to eradicate, they will stir up trouble themselves and cause unrest in the family. The spirit of a saber recognizes only one master, never to be handled by another. We descendants can't melt them down because, 1, it's disrespectful to their forebears, and 2, melting doesn't necessarily solve this problem. Oh lord, Wei Wuxian commented. Aren't they just so? Ni Huaisong said. Sabers that followed their ancestral masters and hacking through obstacles and following their path of cultivation. They are lords in their own right. He continued, with advancements in cultivation through the generations, this problem grew more serious with time until the 6th clan leader of my family came up with a solution. Building this man-eating fortress? Wei Wuxian asked. No, although it's related, that wasn't thought of at first, Ni Huaisong answered. This is what the 6th clan leader did. He built 2 coffins for his father's and his grandfather's sabers and dug a tomb. Nothing precious was placed inside the tomb. Instead, hundreds of corpses, about to turn fierce, were installed inside. Lan Wangji creased his brows, and Ni Huaisong immediately interrupted in fright. Heng Guizhen, let me explain! Those corpses weren't killed by my family! They were arduously sought out and collected from all over. Many were bought at a hefty price. The 6th clan leader said, if those saber spirits want to fight evil, then we will give them evil to fight. Buying those corpses about to change alongside the coffins housing the blades, it was to make burial offense to the saber spirits. The saber spirits would suppress the transformation of those corpses, and at the same time, those corpses could mollify the saber spirits' yearning and madness. It would retain the current status quo, and they would balance each other out. It was this method that allowed for generations of peace for us descendants to come. Then why was the stone fortress constructed afterwards? Wei Wuxian asked. Why bury the bodies inside the walls? And you said it devoured someone? Ni Huaisong replied. Those questions are actually one and the same. I guess you could say it devoured someone, but it wasn't intentional. It was a saber tomb our 6th clan leader constructed, and it was built in a very common style of graves at the time, with the generations after simply following suit. But over 50 years ago, this grave was invaded by a band of grave robbers. Oh, Wei Wuxian said, thinking, well, that really is breaking ground where Tai Sui lies. Tomb construction is such a huge ordeal. Word gets out no matter how prudent or low profile you try to be, Ni Huaisong said. That band of grave robbers probably asked around and heard there was a grand tomb on Xinglu Ridge. They marked this target and came prepared. There were a couple of genuinely able cultivators who actually managed to decipher the position, break the maze array, and find our clan's saber tomb. They dug a hole and went down, entering the grave. Those in that profession have seen plenty of corpses, so they weren't afraid of the dead inside. But while they ransacked the place looking for gold and treasure, they were breathing right next to the bodies. Every single one of them were young and strong males, full of yang energy. You must understand, there were corpses about to transform lying there. It's easy to imagine what happened next. Over a dozen corpses turned fierce on the spot. But that band of grave robbers were very capable and gutsy, and very well equipped at that. They actually managed to kill all the transformed walking corpses. After a vigorous fight, with body parts strewn everywhere, they finally realized this was a perilous place and were preparing to leave. It was when they were retreating that they were devoured. The number of corpses installed in the tomb is strictly controlled, not one more, not one less, just enough to balance the saber spirits. But those grave robbers went in and caused havoc. If they'd only activated the corpse's transformation, it would have been alright. After they'd left, the saber spirits would have energized and suppressed them, but they just had to batter the bodies to pieces. Suddenly, there was a deficit of over a dozen bodies. In order to maintain enough fierce corpses to restrict the saber spirits, the saber tomb had no choice but to automatically seal the tomb completely, forcefully trapping them inside and having that group fill the vacancies they had themselves created. With the destruction of the saber tomb, the clan leader in the time began to seek other methods. He selected another plot of land on Xinglu Ridge, and instead of building another tomb as a replacement, a saber offerings hall was constructed. In order to prevent another visit by grave robbers, the bodies were hidden inside the walls to deceive others. This saber offerings hall is thus the man-eating fortress in the rumors. Those grave robbers came to Qinghe disguised as hunters. When they never returned from Xinglu Ridge and there were no bones to be found, word began to spread that they were devoured by monsters on the ridge. Later, the stone fortress was erected, but before the new maze array was set up, someone saw it by accident in passing. Thankfully, none of the bunkers had doors, so he couldn't enter. But after descending the ridge, he told everyone he met that there was a creepy white fortress on the ridge, and that must be where the man-eating monster was reside. Our clan thought it'd be good to aggrandize the rumors so no one would dare go close to the area. So we embellished the story and created the man-eating fortress's tale. But it really can eat people. From his sleeve, Ni Huaisong took out a handkerchief and a white pebble the size of a garlic head. The handkerchief was to wipe away his sweat, but he passed the white pebble over. You two can take a look at this. Kate, I was wondering if you were still here. Ha ha ha, erected. Nice. From his sleeve, Ni Huaisang took out a handkerchief and a white pebble the size of a garlic head. The handkerchief was to wipe away his sweat, but he passed the white pebble over. You two can take a look at this. Wei Wuxian took the white pebble to examine it. He discovered something white between the powder. It appeared to be a human finger bone. It was clear in his mind now. After Ni Huaisang wiped his sweat, he continued. As for that little JIN gongzi, I don't know how he managed to blow a hole in the wall. That he could do so to such a thick wall means he must have carried plenty of spiritual devices with him. But that's not the point. I mean to say, the place he blew up just so happened to be the earliest of the saber offering halls constructed on Xinglu Ridge. At the time, the idea of using two-layered walls with earth in between to separate the yang energy and prevent easy corpse transformation hadn't been formulated, and bodies were put directly into the plaster. So when little Jin Gongzi blew open a hole, he didn't notice he'd actually blown up a skeleton buried inside the walls. Soon after he entered, he was sucked up into the walls of the stone bunker to replace the body he'd blown up. I checked on Xinglu Ridge regularly, and when I went today, that's what I saw. I had just picked up a rock, and then there was a dog chasing after me. Ha! The Saber Offerings Hall is pretty much the same as our ancestral grave. The more Ni Huaisang spoke, the sadder he became. Generally, cultivators know this is my clan's domain, so they don't conduct night hunts in the Qinghe area. Who knew? Who knew he'd be so unlucky that the first there was Jinling disregarding the rules and setting his eyes on Xinglu Ridge, and then Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian, who came on the directions of the ghost arm. He said, Heng Guanjun and this gentleman, I've said everything. Please absolutely do not let this out. Otherwise, because the Ni clan of Qinghe was already pretty much half dead at this point, if something like this did get out, Ni Huaisang would become a condemned sinner in the history books and be too ashamed to face his ancestors when he entered those graves himself. No wonder he would rather be a secret laughing stock among the cultivation world than diligently cultivate, never mind wielding a saber. Should his cultivation come to fruition, he would become more irascible by the day and end up like his older brother and all those that had come before him, berserk and dying alongside a saber that would curse the world after his death. Rather than cause unrest in the clan, having zero accomplishments was the better choice. This was a problem without a solution. The Ni clan had forged this path since its founding generation, so would its descendants have to denounce the path and foundation established by their forebears? The prominent cultivation clans all had their unique specialties. Just as the Lan clan of Gusu was adept in music, the saber spirits of the Ni clan of Qinghe were fierce and tough. Their power was so mighty and destructive, precisely because of the skill required to master it was a league of its own. If they were to abandon the discipline of their ancestors to start anew, to find a new path, who knew how many years that would take? Success would not be guaranteed. Not to mention, Ni Huaisang would never dare defect from the Ni clan to cultivate a different path. Thus, he had no choice but to be useless. If he hadn't been a clan leader and could spend his life playing around and painting fans like he had back at the cloud recesses, he would definitely have been much more at ease than he was now. But since his older brother had passed away, no matter how much his abilities fell short of his aspirations, he had no choice but to shoulder the clan's heavy burden and stumblingly march forward. After Ni Huaisang left, exhorting and pleading their silence all the way, Wei Wuxian zoned out for a while. Then suddenly, he noticed Lan Wangji walking over and bending one knee to the ground in front of him, rolling up his trouser legs seriously. He quickly said, "Wait, again?" "Expel this curse mark first," Lan Wangji said. Within a day, Heng Guanjun had kneeled in front of him in this position on several occasions. While the other party was exceedingly serious, Wei Wuxian couldn't bear to watch such a scene. "Let me do it myself." He quickly pulled up his trouser leg and saw the curse mark had spread to the entirety of his calf, climbing past his knee and crawling up the thigh. Wei Wuxian glanced at it and said casually, "It's all the way up my inner thigh now." Lan Wangji twisted his head away and didn't respond. Wei Wuxian was puzzled. Oh my god, he's like, "Inner thigh!" Lan Zhan? Lan Wangji turned his head back at the call, but his eyes were still dodging about. Seeing this, Wei Wuxian blinked. He felt like playing a trick on him for some reason. Just as he was about to tease the man, however, there was suddenly a cracking sound from the table. They both rose to their feet to look and saw the teacups and teapot were shattered to the ground. An evil-seeming Chen pouch was lying among the white porcelain fragments in the spilled tea. The surface of the bag was pulsing as if something was trapped inside, desperate to get out. Although this evil-sealing Chinken pouch appeared to be the size of a palm, it possessed magical storage powers and was sewn inside out with complicated spells to reinforce the multiple layers of the seal. Lan Wangji had originally sealed the arm inside the bag and weighed it down with the teacup on the table, but seeing it so agitated now finally reminded them that it was time to play Rest. If they didn't temporarily appease it every night with a song, then no matter how strong the evil-sealing Chinken pouch's subduing powers might be, it would not confine the ghost arm on its own. Wei Wuxian reached for the flute at his waist, but came up empty. He looked around, and as it turned out, the bamboo flute was already in Lan Wangji's hand. He had his head slightly bowed and carved at the bamboo flute in concentration for a while before handing it back. When Wei Wuxian took it back and looked at it, the tone holes and other little details were much cleaner and more exquisite after his mending. Play properly, Lan Wangji said. Recalling the duet they'd played earlier was so horrible it had angered Lan Wangji awake before making him, Lan Qiren awake before making him spit blood and faint once more. Wei Wuxian almost fell to the ground laughing. He thought, must have been hard for him to have tolerated my playing for so long. He stopped playing dumb about it and very seriously placed the bamboo flute to his lips. Unexpectedly, he had only played a couple of notes when the Chinken pouch instantly swelled many times over all of a sudden, standing up. Wei Wuxian scoffed and played a cracked note. What, is it so used to the ugly melody that if I play better it doesn't like it anymore? As if in response, the evil-sealing Chinken pouch shot towards Wei Wuxian. The notes under Lan Wangji's fingers swerved, and with a sweep across the guqin, all 7 strings strummed in unison, letting out an angry roar akin to a landslide. At this admonishment from the guqin, the evil-sealing Chinken pouch collapsed once more. Wei Wuxian continued playing like nothing had happened, and the tension that had stiffened Lan Wangji's wrists softened. He slowly followed the melody of Rest, and the sound turned tranquil and leisurely as they harmonized. After the session was over, the evil-sealing Chinken pouch finally shrank back to its normal size and laid there, quiet and unmoving. Is Nihoi Sung just sitting there while this happened? Oh, he left. After Nihoi Sung left, exhorting and pleading their silence all the way, Wei Wuxian zoned out for a while. Okay, I forgot. I missed that line. I mean, I read that line, but I forgot about it. It's not in front of Nihoi Sung's salad. He's gone. After the session was over, their evil-sealing Chinken pouch finally shrank back to its normal side and laid there, quiet and unmoving. Wei Wuxian stuck his flute back on his waist. It was never this agitated the past few days. It seems to have been triggered by something. Lan Wangji inclined his head in agreement and turned to him. And its something is on your person. Wei Wuxian immediately looked down to inspect himself. There was only one thing that had been added to his person today, the curse mark transferred from Jinling, and that was something left on Jinling by the stone fortress of Xinglu Ridge. Did the strength of the ghost arm's reaction to the mark mean? Wei Wuxian reasoned out loud. Meaning, inside the wall of the Knee Saber offering hall, there might be a part of its body? Oh, brother. Early the next day, the two departed together to return to Xinglu Ridge. Nihoi Sung, caught red-handed the day before, had given up the whole unsavory inside story. He had called together all the trusted sect disciples in the clan to come clean up the mess left by the intruders. When Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji approached, he had just gotten people to refill the hole Wei Wuxian had dug Jinling out of, patching it up with a brand new corpse. He wiped at his sweat as he watched the white bricks laid layer by layer. Yet unexpectedly, he looked back, and his legs went weak. He smiled apologetically. Hingwenjun! And this gentleman! Wei Wuxian cupped his hands and smiled. Sect Leader Ni, building walls, are you? Nihoi Sung had wiped his sweat so much with that handkerchief that he was going to wipe off a layer of skin at this point. Yes, yes, yes. Wei Wuxian said very sympathetically and with a little bit of shyness, sorry, but we might need to trouble you to rebuild again in a bit. Nihoi Sung replied, yes, yes, yes. Huh, wait! Before he finished, Bishen was unsheathed. Nihoi Sung had to watch helplessly as the brick wall he had just rebuilt was cracked once more. Do you need your hole filled? Call the Land Clan. It was more... It was always easier to destroy than to build. Wei Wuxian tore the bricks down with insane speed. Who knew how many times faster than they had been laying them? Ni Huaisong trembled, gripping his folding fan, aggrieved tears threatening to stream from his eyes. And yet Heng Guanzhen was just standing there without any sign or gesture. So Ni Huaisong didn't dare say anything. Lan Wangji gave him a succinct explanation of their reasons, and Ni Huaisong immediately pointed to the heavens and the earth to swear, "No, there definitely aren't any! The corpses used in my clan's saber offering hall are all complete. There's definitely no male corpse missing an arm. If you don't believe me, I'll tear everything down to prove my innocence. But after that, everything needs to be repaired immediately without delay. This is my family's ancestral grave, you know." A number of the Ni sect disciples joined in, and with others doing the work, Wei Wuxian retreated, standing by the side to wait for the result. An hour later, more than half the bricks of the wall where Jin Ling had been buried were dismantled. Of the sect disciples, some pulled on face masks while others swallowed special red pills to prevent their breath and human chi from activating the fierce corpse transformation. In the black dirt, sometimes a pale arm would be revealed, sometimes a leg with popped veins. There was also a mass of tangled and grimy black hair. Crimson Queen, thank you so much for gifting a membership! Happy to see you! Every male corpse was roughly cleaned and placed flat in an orderly manner on the ground. Some of these corpses were already degraded to white bones, some were still in the process of rotting, and some were still very fresh. There were all sorts, but all of them had all their limbs intact. They did not uncover a male corpse missing a left arm. Ni Huaisong asked cautiously, "We only need to tear down this wall, right? Do we need to take down more? There's no need to, right?" It was indeed enough. The curse mark on Jinling's body was extremely dark in color, so the creature who left it must have been buried very close to him at the time. It would definitely not have gone beyond the perimeter of this wall. Wei Wuxian crouched down by the row of corpses and pondered deeply. Lan Wangji suggested, "Retrieve the evil ceiling chinken pouch." It wasn't a bad idea to retrieve the left arm from the evil ceiling chinken pouch, to have it conduct the identification on its own. But if it came too close to the other parts of its body, they couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't make it grow excited. Kate. They couldn't guarantee it wouldn't make it grow excited, thereby resulting in a more dangerous situation. And this location was incredibly unique, heavy with yin energy, which made the danger all the greater. This was why they prudently chosen to come during the day. Wei Wuxian shook his head and pondered. Could this arm be a woman's? No, I can tell from a look whether it was a man or a woman's arm. Then, could its master have had 3 arms? Oh my god, it's Sukuna! He was just amusing himself with a thought when Lan Wangji spoke up. The leg. With that mention, Wei Wuxian finally remembered that he'd actually neglected the fact that the curse mark had been restricted to his leg. He quickly exclaimed, "Pants off! Pants off!" Ni Huaisong was immensely alarmed. "Why would you say such a shameful thing in front of Heng Guanzhen?" "What's there to be shy about? We're all men here," Wei Wuxian said. "Give me a hand. Help me take the pants off the corpse. This doesn't concern the female bodies, just the male ones." He flashed his demonic claws, reaching for the trouser waists of the corpses on the ground. Ni Huaisong could never have expected this. He had only just told the whole sordid story the day before, and today he had to strip the corpses of their trousers inside his ancestor's saber offering hall? Male corpses at that! He would definitely get a big ol' slap in the face from every single one of his ancestors when he himself died and entered the ground. Slapped silly until he was born crippled in his next life. Tears streamed uncontrollably down his face. Thankfully, Lan Wangji stopped Wei Wuxian in the act. However, just as Ni Huaisong was going to praise him with an "as expected of Heng Guanzhen," he heard, "Let me." "You?" Wei Wuxian asked. "You're gonna do this?" The corners of Lan Wangji's brows seemed to be faintly twitching like he was enduring something, and he repeated, "Do not touch them. Let me." Of all the shocks Ni Huaisong had received today, this was the strongest. Of course, Lan Wangji didn't actually remove the trousers of those corpses with his hands. He merely used Bishan's sword chi to lightly slash their clothing, revealing the skin underneath. Some didn't even need to have their clothes slashed, since they were already tattered. It didn't take long before he said, "Found it." The group quickly went over to see. The corpse next to Lan Wangji's white boots had upon his thighs a very faint threaded circle. The thin, flesh-colored stitches were dense and cramped. There was a subtle difference in the skin color above and below the threaded circle. It was obvious the legs and upper body of this corpse did not belong to the same person. Those two legs were stitched on. Ni Huaisang gasped, or gaped. Duh. Wei Wuxian asked, who was responsible for picking the corpses used for the knee saber offerings? Ni Huaisang was in a confused daze. Usually it's the clan leader themselves who picks and stores the bodies while they're still alive. My older brother passed early and didn't have enough, so I helped him pick some. As long as the facial features and limbs were all intact, I'd keep the body. I didn't know about the other ones. He definitely wouldn't know who'd snuck that corpse in, even if they'd asked him directly. The suspects were countless in number, ranging from the ones who provided the bodies to the internal personnel of the Ni clan of Qinghe. They would probably have to find every single body part and put the pieces and the soul back together before they figured out what was going on. It took great effort to remove the leg from the half-bodied male corpse. Wei Wuxian tucked them into a new evil-sealing Jianken pouch. He said to Lan Wangji, looks like this good brother was dismembered by 5 horses, eh? Not only was the body divided, but the limbs were thrown everywhere. One there, one here. What measure of hatred could have prompted this? Let's pray he's not cut into too many pieces. Although Ni Huaisang still said, see you next time, when they bid farewell, judging by the terror on his face, he probably never wanted to see them again in this lifetime. The two left Xinglu Ridge and returned to the inn, a safer place, before they took out the 3 limbs for a more detailed examination. Sure enough, the legs and the left arm had the same skin color. If they were placed near one another, it produced an intense reaction, causing them to shake non-stop like they wanted to be rejoined. Unfortunately, the body's torso was missing, so that couldn't be done, but they definitely belonged to the same person. Besides the few facts that they managed to determine, that this was a man of large build with long and slender limbs, strong and healthy in body and soul, and possessing exceptional cultivation, nothing else was known. It was a bewildering mystery. They're like, we did know the corpse was probably hot. It was a bewildering mystery. Thankfully, the ghost arm quickly pointed out the next destination, southwest. Following its direction, Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji arrived at the city of Yueyang. And that's the end of the chapter. Stitch in the story. Stitch in malpractice. No, Stitch is innocent. We found some legs. Yay! I'm just shocked that the person that dismembered this body didn't divide the legs. If I was so afraid of a fierce corpse coming back, I would definitely separate the legs. Wouldn't you just, like, meat grinder everything? Wouldn't you set everything on fire and divide the ashes? I'm sure there's a reason why, but... It's making me think of that Friday the 13th remake, where they kill Jason, and then they just put his body in a lake, and then he comes back. And I'm like, if you know he's, like, a zombie guy that's gonna come back, like, you gotta dismember him and bury him all around everywhere. Turns out to be an extremely handsome zombie. They never learn. Kate, separate the legs. Oh my god. Cats Cows, thank you for being a member for 19 months. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. This was great entertainment during my Wei Wuxian wig detangling. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm happy to entertain. Empire's Prince says, at least this placement is very poignant and plot relevant. Okay, yeah, I think I remember. I think I remember why. There's a reason for everything. Bitcoin, guys, there's no hot danmei men in the coffins. However, there's a hot danmei zombie in the walls. Oh god. A big, handsome zombie. So strong of a man. This is killing me. It's so funny. Okay, I remembered now why it is in the places that it is. We needed it for a reason. Oh, that was a fun chapter to read. Yeah, Lan Wangji not letting Wei Wuxian pull down the pants of other cultivators was great. He was also pissed that he got the curse mark on him and he bridal carried him like it was nothing. Mary Sidha says, Kector, you provide a public service. Thank you. Aw. That's so kind. That's such a funny way to put it. I'm glad that you enjoy the stream. And we got some Jinling bonding. We did. And we got the phrase, there's 2 things you need to learn to say. Thank you and I'm sorry. That was good. Also, Jinling letting this Wei Wuxian go, being like, I know you're not Wei Wuxian. My uncle does this to everybody. Is so funny. Imagine how fucking pissed Zheng would have been. Oh my god. Someone better go check on Zheng. I don't think he's doing good. He was like, I was gone for 5 minutes and you go and get yourself cursed. And Wei Wuxian's like, 5 minutes is a long time. Okay, Abby, I will get my phone. Not unsupervised for long. Okay. Wait, this isn't Peerless. Are you Abby, are you for real? That's Feng Xiao? Are you sure you didn't get the books mixed up? Okay, look away if you don't want to see Peerless spoilers. What did they do to him? What did they do to him? I need Stitch to see this. Stitch. Can I show you a picture from Volume 5 on screen? Okay, before you ask, this is not a mistake. This is not from another novel.
Okay. Oh my. Is he bald? Why is he bald? What do you mean? What? Oh my god. Wait, no. No, I can explain. No. Wait, no.
Right? But then also... But
then, okay. But wait, there is a bald character that isn't Feng Xiao. Which means, how come is this happening, though? Why would, what?
right?
Why are they kissing? Why
Also-
is everyone kissing Sui Chu? Leave him alone!
Also, this is the next picture. So, something happens.
He's wiping the taste off. What is happening? I'm shocked by the baldness.
And then this is the picture from Run Wild. How cute.
Aw,
How magical.
That's cute.
I'm still not over bald Feng
Is
Xiao.
it bald Feng Xiao or is it like Yu
See,
I'm shocked.
Stitch is in shock.
What the hell?
Hey guys, I have read the chat. We're just looking at Abby's pictures first, and then I will show Stitch Quinn's painting.
I'm really... I actually don't know what I feel looking at that image. It's shocking. It's just so unexpected. I'm just like... His head is so round.
Bald Feng Xiao can hurt you.
I am hurt. I think I took psychic damage. That was freaking crazy.
Right? Okay. Now, you know in the community post, people post paintings and art and stuff. You gotta see what Quinn painted. It's fucking incredible. These are all my posts. 1 second, it should come up here. Oh. One moment.
That's a good pose.
I know. Yesterday was fun. Where is it? Oh my gosh. If you slide your hand to the left, it like changes the page. Do 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 do. It's close, I can feel it. There we go.
Oh wow.
Isn't that freaking crazy?
That's really cool. I love that. The water seems so hard to draw. I love that.
And it said they took them under an hour or only an hour to do.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm sorry. You saw what I made with stuff while I was at work.
Yeah.
Fucked up hat. No, that's freaking awesome. I really love the sky.
Right?
It's so cool. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hour and a half.
That's amazing.
It's very, very,
I
very
don't know how you can make anything
impressive.
An hour and a half.
Now, kiss me, my bald Feng Xiao.
I'm not bald Feng Xiao.
I don't think Feng Xiao's bald either.
I think that has to be someone else.
Oh my gosh. CSCL says, note for next time, chapter 7 is 63 pages. Okay, sounds good. Also, I just want to say a tiny little thing. I don't like it when you guys yell at me in the chat because I feel like I read everybody's messages with so much emotion. And so if there is something that you want to remind me about, just send a little kind message. But when you yell, it feels like I'm being yelled at. Night Owl says, fun seeing minds getting blown and I have no idea what's going on, but here for the ride. That's how I feel too. I barely remember what's happening in Peerless. I just know Feng Xiao keeps fucking, like, betraying him or something. Kate says, ain't no way my hot trophy wife would shave his head. Esper Lady says, sorry, I did not mean to yell. Kicked her. I was just excited. No, I love it when you yell. I mean, like, when people are yelling to, like, be like, look at this or remember this. You know what I mean? No, you're all good, Esper Lady. You couldn't hurt a fly. Quinn Silva says, I'll probably be painting again tomorrow. That's exciting. What are you planning on painting tomorrow? Kaz says sorry, and Luna Sky says sorry. It's okay. It's all good, guys. I just wanted to mention that. Abby says Yan Wuxi Core. Right? I know. Briar May says, I haven't read Peerless, but I was shocked at the bald Feng Xiao. It's gotta be a disguise. I feel they're always putting on disguises and stuff in that book, right? Or am I mixing that up with another book now? It's not a disguise. Did he shave his head for real? Nandini says, you introduced me to danmei and it makes me so happy now. Thank you. Oh my god, that's wonderful. I'm glad that I could introduce you to it. It is so much fun. Rose City Kimono says, didn't you say there was one pic with Feng Xiao's kid? He has a kid? What? Esper Lady says, maybe he was showing how much he loves Suebuchu by shaving his head for real. Okay. Is volume 5 the last volume? Jinko says, bald Feng Xiao kind of looks like my therapist. Kate says, if Yan Wuxi can literally shrink his bones, Feng Xiao can wear a bald cap. I forgot about the bone shrinking juice. Oh my god, and that's the last volume. Quinn Silva says, sorry for yelling, I just get excited when people like my art. It's all good. It's all good. I know there was no ill intent. I just wanted to let you guys know. And I was very excited to see your art too, Quinn, so don't worry. Bone shrinking juice. Bitcoin says Thousand Autumns has bone shrinking juice, so maybe balding could work. Sumo says this will be a fun volume for sure. Kate says, and Yan Wuxi's pocket skin mask. Oh fuck, man. Ugh. Cat's Cow says, maybe he was like me and tired of long hair. This wig is gonna kill me. Oh man. I can't stand wig styling. It's probably my least favorite part of cosplaying. When is Everyday next stream? I can actually stream tomorrow if you guys want to stream tomorrow at 5 p.m. Kaz says, sorry for that again and bye, Kicker. No, it's all good, Kaz. Don't apologize. It's all good, I promise. Esper Lady says, she really is Kate. Yes, a great writer. Okay, yeah, every day is Thursday. Tomorrow at 5. Yeah, let's do tomorrow at 5. After this, I'll make a post about it. Tomorrow, after this, I'm gonna make a post about it, and then I'm gonna also make posts being like, bye, Astrolabe and Joyful Reunion, because they just came out. Yeah, okay. Is there a member stream Friday? Yes, we will be back to the regular Friday member stream. Cat's Cow says, I did basic detangling today and braided it. I need a silicone spray. Oh, yeah. I know all the cosplayers use mane and tail, right? I don't think I'm like, I haven't worn a long wig before, but I've worn Hua Chung and Xie Lian, but those aren't super long compared to, like, some wigs. Kate says, so many books are coming out, you'll be posting every week. I gotta keep the masses informed. I'm not even informed. Shruvia said, I haven't read Peerless yet, but it reminded me of One Punch Man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I used to think that the robot guy from One Punch Man was really hot. Sumo says, I'm gonna need to watch the live from yesterday. I missed it since I was really tired. Aw, it was a good one. Alrighty then. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I gotta go for dinner. I will see you guys tomorrow at 5. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. This was a really, really fun stream, and I really enjoyed reading. So, yeah, let's find out what's gonna happen next. Hopefully something gay. Okay, bye guys. I love you. Bye.